gotta be for stimulus, but they call them stimmies. Okay.
The reason those came about is because there was a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives and Congress.
Polls suggest that voters trust President Trump, former President Trump, more on the economy.
So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
We need help right now, and we need to send out checks. There was a whole lot of opposition to it, including from Donald Trump's White House.
Yes.
I guess she thought, hey, listen, I guess she thought she was going to pull some Cat Williams numbers. One thing about Shannon Sharpe, everybody's not going to get Cat Williams numbers on there, right? It depends who it is and what the people want to hear. When it comes to her, she's like, in order for you to get a good look, pause no diddy, on Shannon Sharpe's show, you got to be edgy. You got to be risky. You got to be willing to take a chance and not be scared of popular opinion. If you go on this show and you play it safe, your views ain't gonna go up and no one is gonna actually be interested in what you have to say. This still didn't even hit 1 million. Maybe by the time this video come out, it'll be at 1 million. Maybe. But that took a whole day just for 1 million. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan and Donald Trump pulled in 14 million viewerships. And the comments weren't negative neither. That's the crazy thing about it. So with that being said, let's sit back and react to this pathetic, I don't know what this was about, but she just sounded scripted. She sounded like she's on repeat from all her past interviews. She's not being authentic. She's not being regular. Everything is generic about her. Watch this clip, sit back and react with your boy. If you like reactions like this, consider hitting that like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell.
Let's get into things that will change what will happen if you were to become president, say in the next 12 to 13 days. Polls suggest that voters trust President Trump, former President Trump, more on the economy. What can you tell the voters, our viewing audience, our listening audience, that if you were to become president, while Madam VP Kamala Harris will be much better on the economy than what President Trump was?
Well, so I'm really glad you brought that up, Shannon. So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
You know those checks that went out?
Yes. Those stimmies?
Right. Right.
Stimulus check.
Yeah, I know. Well, right. Yes. Yes.
Here we go with that laugh. And he's over here, Kiki. I don't know if it's his tight pants that got him laughing at everything right now with her, but I guess this is what Cat Williams was saying when he has unusual, strange, loyalty to certain people. I guess that's what he's talking about. Other than that, notice how every time when they ask her specific questions, instead of her answering directly, she deflects by bringing and blaming everything on Trump. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but she always does this. It seemed like this was very softball right here. She know that Shannon is not going to challenge her. The good thing about Rogan is that Rogan actually allows people to speak. He asks the questions where you can just speak and he can listen, and he's listening not to respond. He's retaining the information, he's receiving it. You understand what I mean? However, Shannon likes to talk a lot. You know what I mean? He talks way too much, and he's also generic himself.
We gotta be for stimulus, but they call them stimmies. Okay.
The reason those came about is because there was a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives and Congress. People like Maxine Waters, people like Hakeem Jeffries, right?
Yes.
Who did the work of pushing to say, people need help right now and we need to send out checks. There was a whole lot of opposition to it, including from Donald Trump's White House.
Yes, even him. I think he was resistant to it at first.
Yes. That's why those checks, remember, Congress holds the purse.
Yes.
So really, Congress wrote those checks, but then Donald Trump, unlike any president before or after, decided he put his name on those checks.
So therefore people thought
Donald Trump gave me that check. And so let's clear that up first and foremost,
okay.
But let's also deal with where he was in terms of his policies on the economy. He gave the biggest tax cuts for billionaires and the biggest corporations, which caused an incredible deficit. He tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which we also call Obamacare, which benefited so many people, including, and in particular, Black people in America who otherwise were denied by the insurance companies health coverage because of pre-existing conditions.
Yes.
You see, I see. You know what she's going on a tour. This is like a rap artist or any genre of music artist going on tour where they're performing the same exact songs, just to different crowds. This is what she's doing right here. You see, she go to certain churches and she becomes generic. She tries to talk like a preacher pastor. You know, that's the crowd that she's pitching to. That's the demographic. But she's saying the same thing. What she's saying here, this is a waste of an interview. We've heard all of this right here. But, you know, I have to compare. I'm sorry. I mean, he's either one or the other, right? People are voting. So I say that to say this. When Trump is doing interviews, you're always going to get something new from him. All right? I'm not pandering to Trump. It's the truth. All right? Let's leave your emotions out of this. Stop talking about, I like this person so much. Listen, a lot of you have bosses that you work for and you're on time every day and you don't like them at all. So you can miss me with that one right there. But just pay attention how they try to finesse you.
That's most important. Let the people know.
Right?
With a Affordable Care Act, if you have a pre-existing condition, insurance companies can no longer deny you coverage.
That's exactly right. And if you think about what that means in the context of also knowing the big health disparities we have in the Black community,
Correct.
and how more likely, therefore, Black folks might be to have pre-existing conditions.
High blood pressure, diabetes,
all of
certain
that.
cancers.
All of that.
Yes.
Preventative
Asthma
healthcare.
for our children.
Yes. Sickle cell trait.
It's all of that. So by getting rid of the pre-existing condition ban, what that did, but he wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
What we have done, and part of my policies going forward include what we need to do to not only retain the cap that we got on insulin at $35 a month for seniors. By the way, Black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes.
Correct.
He wants to get rid of it with that Project 2025. Everybody needs to check that out. What he would do to get rid of Social Security or...
All right. This is how they try to finesse y'all, right? Are we forgetting that we have 3 branches of government? Do you really believe that Project 2025 can actually happen and take place? Are you not aware of how the government works, huh? And I really feel like they're deflecting right here. I feel like you see, when they point you to look at something, it's because they don't want you to look the other way. So for her to keep saying, right, you need to pay attention to Project 2025. It's for her to have you not go look at Agenda 47, which is his real policies. But, you know, everybody wants to talk about Project 2025. Those are the same people that believe the world was going to end back then. These are the people that buy into the real fake conspiracies. Not the conspiracies that deem to be true today. Not those ones. You understand?
Or at least raise the age to 70, so you'd have to work to 70 to be able to qualify.
Right.
Get rid of Medicare, get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And that's just on health policy, not to mention bringing back not only tax cuts for the richest people, but what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay.
So you could work and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for
overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired.
Right.
Which means it requires more exertion. That's why we have overtime pay. So you don't take advantage of workers. In addition to all of that, we're looking at Donald Trump, basically somebody who has never been understanding of the issues that affect the community about disparities. And I'm going to talk, for example, about how when he was a landlord, he denied rent to Black families.
She even closed her eyes because she knows this is like redundant at this point. She needs to walk around with a violin because she's always playing the same song. You understand what I mean? You got to pay attention to her tactics. She's saying the same thing that she have said on all other platforms. It's just different demographics. I guess she feels that this demographic right here is the real Black crowd because it's Shannon Sharpe. You see how they thinking? This is how they think of us right here. This is insane. Both parties do this. This is really insane.
You look at what he did in terms of taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times against the Central Park Five.
Oh my goodness.
Which were a bunch of, they're not young adults. They were teenagers. Black and brown teenagers. Took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for their execution for crimes they did not commit. They were innocent.
I'm not laughing at the situation that took place. The only reason why I'm laughing is because she wants you to think, and she just wants you to think that he hates black people. Listen, a lot of people are prejudiced. We cannot deny the fact. Most of America is prejudiced. I say 95% of the people are prejudiced at times. Let's fast forward to another clip where they dive into inflation. Let's see how this is about to play out.
Would you want to touch on some specific things you would like to do to keep it, because the economy seems to be heading in the right direction, but the inflation, gas prices are extremely high, groceries are extremely high. This rent, I mean, it used to be when I was renting, they moved the rent up $40 a year. Now they're moving it up $400.
So let's talk about that. I'm glad you raised that. So for example, groceries, yes, the prices are still too high. You know it, I know it.
Yeah.
Part of my plan is to deal with price gouging. I did it when I was Attorney General. I'm going to do it as president, which is these companies that will jack up the prices of groceries to take advantage of people in need, and in particular during a crisis, like what you see around the pandemic or Hurricane Helene.
Yes.
When the government tells a private company what they should charge and shouldn't charge, that's a form of dictatorship right there. Because if I'm the producer and you telling me what to charge the consumers only because you want to butt in, miss me with that right there.
Right?
Yes.
Milton, right? So there's that. In terms of housing, first of all, we know that black families are 40% less likely to own their home. And we can go back to redlining. We can go back to policies that were by law or practice meant to not give black folks equal opportunity to home ownership, especially in certain neighborhoods. We can go back to what happened around the GI Bill.
Yeah.
And when all those, the great generation we called them, came back, and there was federal policy to say, you all fought for our country, we're going to give you a boost around helping you buy homes. But those black servicemen, and it was mostly men, those black servicemen did not. So you had then a time when there was a boost for, it ended up being not for black service members. So part of my policy is to, create a fund so that we will give a $25,000 down payment to first-time homeowners to just help people get in the door. We will deal with the rent issue, because part of what we're seeing in Atlanta, in places across our country, is these corporations are buying up all these properties.
Yeah, corporations is backing you and funding you, so I find it hard to believe. Also, she forgot to include the keyword up to $25,000. Everything is up to, not the amount that she's telling you. And everything comes with a clause. I'm telling you, don't fall or get finessed for this right here.
Which means then that they don't have to deal with competition between the properties, and they're jacking up rent costs. So it's about also going after that corporate gouging around what they're doing to buy up and then jack up the prices of rent. We also need to help people with small business ownership. I did, even before I was running for president, a tour, I called it the Opportunity Economy Tour, focused on black men and black entrepreneurs. What we know is, unlike Donald Trump, who got $400 million handed to him practically on a silver platter. And by the way, Shannon filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Everybody wants to say he's a great businessman. Take a look at his record. I know that so many of our entrepreneurs who have great ideas don't have access to capital, but they have serious work ethic, great ideas, and a plan to do the work. So part of my plan is to increase access to capital, including giving $20,000 forgivable loans for startup capital for people to buy the equipment.
Right.
And then to change the tax deduction. So whereas it is now $5,000 to make it $50,000 to start a new business, because nobody can start a new business on $5,000.
Ask yourself this: where is this money coming from? Where is it really from? How are they allocating this money? Right? Ask that question right there. No one's asking that. They just hear these dollar amounts and they're like, you heard what she said? 50,000, 25,000, 6,000. We're in the money, baby. You understand? She's about to put more people in debt further than they ever been.
And the direct benefit, when we're looking at black entrepreneurs, is profound. And all it is about saying this: Americans in general, regardless of their race or gender, we have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams, but not everyone has access to the opportunity that lets them actually accomplish that. I want to increase access to opportunity.
Man, listen, look. What does an access to opportunity means? Are we living in the 1800s? Huh? Oh, which one is it? Is it give us free? What is going on here? Who are they really trying to finesse? I hope it ain't y'all who's watching me. I hope y'all way more on point than that. We're going to hear what she has to say about Social Security.
Madam VP, if you were to become president, what measures would you put in place to make sure Social Security benefits continue? Because there are reports that it could possibly be depleted by 2033. And there are estimated that 11,000 people turn at least 65 years of age every single day.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to make sure, because that, people, disability, retirement, survivors with beneficiaries, what are you going to do to make sure that that continues?
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan, which shows that Social
Always
Security
Trump.
in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan,
You see
meaning
this?
that it would not be able to pay out what hardworking people who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check.
Blame Trump.
Right? It's the only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one.
And what plan is that? She's just saying she has the plan, but what plan is that? And again, where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? You know how they say follow the money? But where is it coming from?
Blacks for Trump.
And now we're going to go to this next clip where she's going to indulge into blacks for Trump. So let's see what she got to say, since it seems like this entire interview, she just keeps mentioning Trump. This is why people don't get to know who she is.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto, because he was, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States? You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure, your Fifth Amendment right, your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families, who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children.
Yeah, she's wild.
Who birtherism accusations against the first black president. Not to mention please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
I gotta stop her right there because she sounds like a broken record at this point. She's on repeat. She see what she's doing? She's trying to start a new wave of manipulating media. You understand? By saying the same thing all the time just so you get used to it. And also making you focus on what you shouldn't be focusing on. She's the queen of this right here. The comments is just way off the hook. Matter of fact, let's go into some comments right now. Look at these comments. We're gonna go into some comments right now. Somebody said, chill. I done booked a first class ticket and flew straight to the comments. Shannon Sharpe, congratulations for breaking the record for the most non-watch straight to the comments video in the Club Shay Shay history. Wow. Basically, this is a comment party right here. No one really wanted to hear what she had to say because I guess most of the entertainment and most of what you wanted to listen to is in the comments. For some reason, as a running president, that shouldn't be it for you right there. You know what I mean? That's a bad look. First of all, Shannon, I was raised by a middle class family that's them, having jokes and trolling Kamala. It says, proof we are all living the same life. Pause. Comment section. Everybody's in the comment section. It says, I watched the entire interview and a few things bothered me. 1, running ads throughout the entire interview. She had a chance to connect on a personal level with the public, but decided to talk more about Trump than herself, her family, her career, or her policies. And you know one thing about Trump? Trump always talks about his family, and he always lets you know who he is. You understand what I'm saying? All right, here goes another one. We covered it all. What she eats for breakfast, what music she likes, what it felt like when Biden was forced to quit the race. Yo, that's hilarious right there. Let me see what else they said. What it felt like to be the first Pacific Islander, Asian American, African American, Aboriginal Native, West Indian, Canadian American woman to be a presidential nominee. That is hilarious right there. Let me see. We're going to keep going on the comments. I clicked the video, then paused the video, and went straight to the comments. And I'm not disappointed. Are you disappointed? The comment section is lit right now. It says, as a federal employee, I didn't have the right to preside over my own body when I wanted to refuse a shot. Make it make sense. I think Kamala knows more about Project 2025 than Trump does. And that's true, because she keep bringing that up so much all the time. Lady, you are in office right now. This is what the people are saying. I'm not making this up. You can go in the comments on your own. Let me see. It says right here at the 10:50 minute mark, if you keep saying this woman is the first African American anything, I'm going to rip my eardrums out. Listen, the people are speaking. I searched for a single Kamala sympathizer in the comments and couldn't find one before the 1 hour runtime was up. Yo, they are not lying. Within 11 hours, it's at 600,000 in 11 hours. That's bad. That's very, very bad. All right, now, with that being said, if you like what you saw, don't forget, make sure you hit that like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.